Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. In this short video, we're going to talk, uh, just going to focus on assignments in our class. As always, for any of these explainer videos, the full information is in the syllabus. But instead of plowing through, 10 pages straight on every different aspect of our class, I give you these short little things to get your feet wet, give you the general lay of the land for the class. Okay, so if you have any questions after these short videos, the answer is in the syllabus. If you can't find it or you found it in the syllabus but you're not 100% sure about it, just email me and we'll get it all sorted out. Okay? All right. So, first thing about our assignments is let's talk generally about assignments. The late penalty for this course um, is pretty light. So, it maxes out at 10%. So, no matter how late something is, um, the late penalty will never go over 10%. Um, the, the there's various reasons I do that. One is since it never gets that heavy, the punishment, it means the penalty, I can apply it consistently in the same way and still have it be both fair because it's applied the same way, um, because it's consistent, and also it won't really damage your grade that much. 10% off max of one assignment isn't going to ruin your grade for the class. Okay. I understand you have lots of things going on in your lives. This probably isn't even your only course, let alone family, jobs, significant others, all these other uh, aspects of your time. So I build that in where, look, we have to have deadlines, but if you can't meet one for some reason, I don't take it personally. It's not the end of the world. So the late penalty reflects that. Okay. Um, Another reason I do it is that the details are in the syllabus, but if it's late at all, you have 2 full days, and it's only docking you 3%. And then if it's another 2 days late, it docks you another 3%, etc. The reason I do that is some students wait until the last minute to do something. Sometimes they realize they're not prepared and then they panic, right? That's bad already. I don't want you to feel stressed or panicked. Um, but also, what happens is sometimes when they panic, then they go and they plagiarize. So I've built this late penalty where you realize you never have to last minute plagiarize for work, um, because you feel unprepared. Just take the small late penalty and do it yourself. Okay. So I build that in for you. Okay. Now, speaking of plagiarism, there's a general policy in this class for every assignment. No outside sources, okay? Just don't even look at outside sources at all, okay? Now, I know this is unusual. In most of your classes, you're allowed to use outside sources so long as you properly cite them. Well, there's lots of reasons I have for this policy. So email me if you want to hear more for sure, just out of curiosity. But here's some of the reasons. Um, One, philosophy is this skill of thinking for yourself, sort of deepening your knowledge about your own self and your own ideas. So in our ethics class, part of what we're trying to do is we're trying to move from step one, where you think something or you have a feeling about something morally. We're trying to move from that step one to a later step, which is where you can offer proof for that. Instead of just feeling that something's right or wrong, you can offer evidence for why it's right or wrong. So if you think about your own ideas and values, you can move from mere feeling or opinion, which is unconvincing and unclear to other people, to offering proof for your ideas, which is convincing to other people. Even if they disagree, they'll say, hey, this person's smart. They've thought about their views. Okay. So if you go to an outside source, even if you properly cite it, you're not thinking about your own values and whether they have proof behind them or not. You're just telling me what someone else said about their own values, right? Okay, so that's one reason. Um, the second reason is that if you're going to use outside sources, you're going to go to the internet, basically, and internet sources are very often wrong. It's not about 50% of the time, but it's a lot more than you want to risk your grade on. So the sources you use will be crappy quality. I'd like to think that I can be a better source, especially since I'm the one grading the material. right? So come to me instead of going to these dubious online sources. That's the second point. Um, the third point is that if I allow you to use outside sources, then it'll basically be required, or some students will use them well and some won't use them. And then you push the best and the worst grades apart. Basically, if I allow you to use them, it's almost like requiring that you use them. And that's more work than you should be doing in this class, or a different kind of work at least. That's the third point. Um, um, uh, yes, yeah. So I think I've said all the points. That's why we don't have outside sources in this class. Third main topic is that we have papers in this class, and they're a big deal. They're worth about half of your grade. Now, part of why that is that for the tier credits that you get for this class through Ball State, it's required that it be writing heavy. Okay, so don't kill the messenger, right? That's just part of what this course or any other course in the same tier requires, is heavy writing. So another thing to know about papers is that I give you all sorts of help, okay? I have you write an outline, which always makes for stronger papers. I give office hours of two kinds, okay? The first one is that you can always schedule an appointment with me any day just by emailing me. The second kind of office hours is that around the first paper, I have days set aside just for office hours for your class. So again, you can always schedule them individually yourself, but I have these whole days where I'm not doing anything else except waiting for students to meet me in office hours. So that gives you a lot of time you won't get from most other professors, okay? I'm also available through email if you don't want a video chat, okay? I also offer advice readings about how to write this kind of paper. So I give you all sorts of help to do well, okay? A second point is this, is that I know a lot of students, people will be like, oh, I'm not a math person. Well, a lot of people also say, well, I'm not a paper person. I'm just not good at papers. I don't buy it. Think about it this way. Nobody was born good at speaking or walking, right? Those are skills that you have to develop over time. Well, paper writing is the same thing, but it's even more complex, so it takes longer. Think about this as well. You're probably better at writing papers now than you were, say, 3 years ago in school, right? So you're in the process of becoming a better and better writer every day. I'm here to help you with that, but part of what I'm trying to say here is, if you're one of the people who thinks you're not a good writer, I would dispute that. And I would say you're just not as good as you want to be at writing papers yet. You're getting better, okay? So that means papers are not exactly something to worry about in our class, even if you think you're not good at them, okay? Another thing about papers is I give extensive comments on the first one that are designed to help you do better on the second paper, and in fact to help you write more clearly and better in general for other papers, for emails later on, for job presentations, everything. So I give you general and specific advice, general for writing in life and specific to this kind of paper. Okay, so again, why do we have these assignments of papers? Partly because Ball State requires them, partly so that you can develop your writing skill even further than you have it yet. And this isn't exactly a why, but remember, I give you lots and lots of help. I can pretty much guarantee you can get an A on this paper if you take advantage of all the help that I offer, okay? Okay, another major assignment area is discussion. Details are posted in the first few modules, so you can't miss them. But basically it's this. If you comment about once per discussion day, you'll get an A. If you comment about 2 out of 3 discussion days, you'll get a B. If you comment about half a discussion days, you'll get a C, okay? You do not need to do every question I ask. I deliberately ask you multiple questions so that you have a choice, because you may not think, well, everything I think is interesting, right? So I give you a choice. If there's 3 questions in a day, still you can do just 1. You don't have to do 3. Okay. Another point about discussion, if you miss a discussion day, just do an extra one later, okay? So don't go back because other students won't be there discussing it anymore. And also this means that you can go forward easily. Okay, you can catch up by going forward easily. You could miss a whole week of discussion. Just do twice as much discussion the next week. Boom. You're exactly the same points that way. Okay. Another question about discussion students often have is about responding to other students. Yes, responding to other students counts for discussion credit. Okay, it counts the same as answering a question from me. But it's not required in our class. Okay, so you can respond to others, um, but it's not required that you respond to others. Okay, so can you see already? Can you get a sense of how our class is built with options and choice for you as a student built into it in advance? Um, and do you see with, say, the late penalty, or if you miss discussions, just doing more in the future? I sort of have workarounds built in for common problems that students run into. Okay, so just know I've planned this course. I've taught so many online courses before. I've planned it to try to help you navigate or avoid every common problem. Okay. Let's see. The next main, uh, oh, I should say why we do discussion. What's the point of discussion? A big part of discussion is so that you can voice your own views. In the papers, you'll be mostly telling you what the reading said and analyzing it sort of at a distance, not really as yourself very much. But discussion is very much, what do you think? Tell me what you would do in this situation. So that's one main reason we do discussion. Another one, and this is huge, this is so important for our class. You know how it is today. Fake news, red state, blue state, all this stuff. People have a really hard time listening to opposing viewpoints today. But what you'll see in our class is that in discussion especially, you get to hear other people's viewpoints, but because it's in the context of class, it's almost always polite. They have to offer reasons that you can really talk about instead of just, you're a jerk, no, you're a jerk, no, you're a jerk, right? It's it's civilized, intelligent discussion about moral and political issues, which good luck finding that on Twitter, right? So it's a good quality space to voice your own views and to hear other people's views that you might not agree with. Okay. Last main thing about assignments is we have journals. They're called reading journals, and they're called reading journals for a reason. They have to be your reaction, your personal reaction, that's the journal part, to the readings, not to the discussion, not to paper prompts or whatever, okay? So journals are easy points, okay? They're about your own views, which can't really be wrong. I'm not going to dock you points if I don't like your view. So here's how you get full points in the journals, or here's how you don't get full points, okay? If your journals are overly vague, if you just say, I don't like something, or I disagree, or it sounds good, that's too vague. I can't really see what you think when you say you just don't like something. So you won't get full points for that. If it's too brief, you won't get full points. If the whole thing's too short, or if you just say, I don't like it because one sentence, boom. If all your responses are that way, I don't get a lot of depth about who you are as a person, okay? Another way you won't get full points um, is if it's about the recordings and not the reading. Okay, that's the main way that students lose points. They skip the readings, unfortunately, even though it's a reading journal, right? They skip the reading and then they just do it on the recordings. But then it's your reaction to me, not your reaction to the reading. And when it's done about recordings, it basically ends up being like discussion repeated, or you telling me if you think what I said is good or bad. But I don't care what you think about me. I'm not that arrogant. I care what you think about the reading, okay? The other common way that students lose points in journals is when it's only about themselves and not about the reading. So if it's an abortion reading and you just say, the reading says abortion is wrong, here's what I think about abortion. Well, that's interesting information and it's relevant for the journals, but that's still not you reacting to the reading. That's you telling me something that you felt before class, right? What we want in the reading journals is you take what someone else wrote, you think about it, you react to it, and then sure, talk about yourself, but in dialogue, in conversation with the reading or someone else. Just a list of things that you think all by yourself with no reflection, extension, conversation built in is not, I don't need you to write something in order to get that from you. Okay, I need you to write the reading journal so I can see how you react or combine with the reading. Okay? So the best way to do journals is to just in one line, quote something from the reading, cut and paste it, paraphrase it, whatever, sort of like a bullet point, and then give me about 3 sentences or more of your reaction. That way I can tell that you're doing the reading. That way it's specific and not vague. And that way it's your reaction, but to something in the reading. So that's the best way to do it. As you read, when you see something that's interesting to you, quickly type it down just briefly, and then either type in your reaction then or go back later and add your reaction, either way. But that's why it's called a journal, right? It's like as you are journeying through the readings, you're typing your own reactions to the reading. That's how you get full credit. Okay. So why do we do journals? Again, I want to hear your own views. You get to do that in this class way more than most classes and get points for it, easy points. Another reason we do journals is to help you keep up with the readings. In an online class, if there's not some reason to do the readings, students often say, well, professor won't know, I'll do it later. And then life gets in the way and you never get back to it. So this helps you do in slow, steady ways, keep up with some of the readings, okay? And this is very important, it'll help you with this sort of life skill, this job skill, and this general college skill of instead of reading something just to memorize it and tell someone, well, this is what their reading says, it gives you these deeper life skills of instead of passively memorizing, of actively analyzing, reacting, objecting to something, and confirming what it says, right? That's a skill that's going to go take you far in life. And so the journals are there to help you with that. So that's information about all of our assignments. More information is in the syllabus, and all the information is there. If you email me, I'll give you all the information if anything's unclear. Okay, thank you, everyone.